Good afternoon, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Welcome back to another video about the Quran of the Muslims. So, it's kind of a bit of a comment response to this, but I'm actually not speaking to that guy. I don't think he wants an answer. He just wanted to shout at me. So I'm speaking to you. And the question was, have I considered the context of each surah? Have I really understood the context in which these things are said? And I thought, this guy clearly hasn't understood his own Quran. He's another one of those. He probably hasn't even read it. So let me tell you why that's a dumb question. The thing is about this book, on page 1, it says, Allah is all-knowing, all-powerful, all-merciful, oft-forgiving, and you shall obey every word he writes. Throughout the book he says, you shall not obey anyone else, you shall not misunderstand this, you shall not add anything, you shall not interpret this in any way apart from the way that Allah tells you to interpret. And then he goes on to say, you should kill all the non-believers. So, as far as I'm concerned, that is the only context which is important, and it doesn't change from surah to surah to surah, it's throughout the book. And the reason why Allah is saying this, even though he freely admits you won't fully understand what's in this book, no matter who you are, how much time you spend, the context of the book is the context that you are his servant. It's not difficult to understand. It doesn't change considering who you are or where in the world you are. It doesn't change depending on what time of year it is. So the context of this book is you are the servant of Allah, and that you should do everything that he tells you to do. Your context is not you are a scholar who needs to interpret this and change what it means. The context isn't you are promoted from slave to master. There's none of that. It's very simple. The context is you are a tiny little ant upon the earth who is born evil, and you owe a massive debt to Allah, and the way that you shall pay this debt off is by obeying every single word he says and punishing the non-believers with death. That is the only context that you need with this book. Now, how do I know this is the context? Well, because I picked up the book and I read it from the first word in ascending order, and I made sure I was reading it correctly. I.e., I wasn't adding anything, I wasn't taking anything away, I wasn't tweaking the meanings of words by cleverly translating it in the way that I wanted it to sound. I was translating it word by word, sentence by sentence, in the way it was meant. Which is pretty clear. You can't get that wrong. Now, what I could have done is reinterpreted this book to sound a bit nicer than it was. I could have translated it and missed out bits to try and make it sound like something it's not. Or I could have translated it into a language that made it sound nicer and then translated that back into English so that I could pretty up the result. But I will remind you, had I done those things, that would not be Allah's word. That would be my version of Allah's word. And I think this chap, Vicious B, that's what he's trying to get at there. He's saying, why didn't I reinterpret the context of this book to sound a bit nicer so that people could like it better? And the answer to that is, I am not interpreting the book. I am literally translating the book, word by word, and then I'm telling non-believers from our point of view what it means. And I've been doing that all the way along. And what I have found out is that it doesn't mean well for us. It doesn't mean well for Muslims. It doesn't mean well for the human species. That is the context of this book. Allah does not like humans. He wishes to use humans for his own purposes, and his own purposes are holy jihad, i.e. getting everyone to kill each other, rubbing out humanity, and punishing Elohim. That's it. That's the context of this book. So anyway, I hope that clears it up for you, Mr. Vicious B. I am not doing what you think I should be doing. I'm not an imam trying to pretty up and sell this book as a package to other people so that they accept it. I am reading the words of the book straight as if it's a bullet list, and I am translating that to other people and then telling them how this is going to affect them as a non-believer in the world. That's the context of the book for me. Allah's context, not yours. And Allah's context is not good. So that's why I think this series has seen so much success, because people like you would rather hide the context of this book, make excuses for the context of this book. People like you would rather we didn't know. so that we just let you get on with the given task of dominating our countries, rubbing out our cultures, and eventually off with our head killing us and taking all our stuff. But we're not going to have it. Allah is a maniac, and people who follow him become maniacs because he has instructed them to do that. So the context for me is not to try and add or take away anything from this book. It's just to show people what is in this book. That's what I will keep doing. So anyway, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something, and I will see you, lovely people, in the next one. Bye now. He's going to tell me now, no, there's a certain context you can read this book in which it actually is promoting peace and nice things. I just don't understand. That's what he's trying to say. But I don't think he's correct. So anyway, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that. God bless, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.